Hello, I'm Pete Buttigieg, Mayor of South Bend and Democratic candidate for president. I'm sorry that I can't be with you in Anaheim, but I want to let you know how much I appreciate the work that NUHW has been doing for your members and to make the country a better place. I have been proud to stand with labor throughout my career. It is the labor movement that built this country and secured a middle-class lifestyle for Americans. And a healthy labor movement is essential to moving our economy forward. That's why I am looking to unions like yours for guidance across the course of my campaign and will be in my presidency as well. I was asked to answer a few key questions about my policies, and even though I can't be there in person, I want to make sure that we have that opportunity. I strongly believe that healthcare is a right, and I have a plan to get everybody health insurance. I call it Medicare for all who want it. The idea is that we're going to create a public alternative, a Medicare-like option that anyone can participate in who wants to. But we don't have to order people to give up their private insurance in order to do it. If somebody prefers their private plan, fine, but I believe the public alternative will be better, and I trust Americans to make that decision for themselves. We also need to make sure that healthcare is more affordable, including prescription drugs in this country. My plan will make that possible so that everyone can get the health coverage and health care that they deserve. Mental health care is such an important issue for so many Americans, and we have not been taking it seriously enough. I have put out a plan on mental health, addiction, and belonging that will help us address the causes as well as the need for care when it comes to mental health. We're proposing $10 billion in healing and belonging grants to local communities, developing solutions that will make sense on the ground. I'm insisting that we enforce parity, which means that mental health care must be covered and treated just as much as physical health. We're going to support schools and veterans when it comes to making sure that everybody gets the treatment they need. And when it comes to addiction, we're going to hold accountable those companies that helped create the opioid crisis and rely on medication-assisted therapy and other means to help those who are struggling with addiction. We need to act on healthcare, including mental health care, and when we do, we can save millions of lives. It is imperative that we act sooner rather than later, and more than anything else, break the silence when it comes to the need for mental health care in this country. Our economy needs to change quickly. Right now, we see the Dow Jones rising and life expectancy falling at the same time. That shouldn't even be possible, and it shows you that the economy is not working for most Americans. When I'm president, we're going to measure success not by the GDP alone, but by wage growth for the 90%, and that means supporting every worker in America and supporting organized labor. My proposal calls for us to double the rates of unionization in this country. We're going to expand who can unionize, including making sure that labor protections and a right to a union exist for gig workers, and how you can unionize. That means supporting multi-employer bargaining and other measures like ensuring that there is real accountability, real teeth in legislation that holds companies accountable when they interfere with union elections or misclassify workers and treat them as contractors when they deserve union protections. We also need to make sure we have predictable hours and good wages, which is why I support a $15 minimum wage as a beginning, as a floor, and all of the other measures that are needed from overtime to protections for domestic and farm workers to make sure that everybody who participates in this economy can thrive. These are not cosmic, unstoppable forces that have caused our country to be the way it is. They are policy decisions. We need different and better policy decisions to empower workers and to stand with organized labor. The future of the United States depends on whether we can be an inclusive nation where everybody can thrive. When it comes to immigration, I believe we urgently need reforms like creating a pathway to citizenship for undocumented people who are here right now, making sure that we protect dreamers for whom this is often the only country that they know, and ensuring that we respect the right to asylum and manage the border in a way that is consistent with our values as well as with our laws, ending family separation, and making sure that we can never again see the spectacle of children being detained in cages like we have right now. I'm also proposing that we launch a Douglas Plan for Black America, tackling systemic racism to ensure that not only criminal justice reform, but economic empowerment is delivered. We can triple the number of black entrepreneurs and work to make sure that the federal government is doing more of its purchasing. I call for it to be 25%, with businesses that are owned by historically disadvantaged communities. We need to act on health equity, housing, voting rights, every aspect in which systemic racism has made America less whole. And when I'm president, we will take a systematic approach to dealing with this. Racial inequity is not going to go away on its own. We need to bring intention to it, and I'm committed to doing that. The bottom line is that we need to make sure that America works for everybody, or this entire country will be held back. Thanks for the opportunity to share just a little bit about my values and vision.